Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Riesinger.
And I'm Jeanelle Slade. New developments tonight in the Miles City sex abuse case involving the school's former athletic trainer. At stake now, a bill designed to protect future children from molesters for even generations after their abuse. A battle over statute of limitations bills is brewing in Helena, and supporters feel that measure is dying a fast death, all because of one local lawmaker. Plaintiffs in the massive sex abuse case involving Jim Jensen, the former Miles City athletic trainer, say a proposed bill to change the law is being torpedoed by Billings lawmaker and former Montana U.S. Attorney Bill Mercer. However, Mercer says the law is fine the way it is. Q2's Andrea Lutz is here to explain. Andrea?
Well, late last night, dozens of survivors met collectively in Billings, some even traveling from Bozeman and Miles City to conference call with freshman Republican State Representative Bill Mercer. The survivors spoke anonymously to MTN News about their abuse and now face a new challenge. Not only can 78-year-old Jim Jensen not be tried criminally for the sex abuse allegations against him, but now future legislation to protect others could be dead in committee. Survivors argue many times victims don't come forward until decades after their abuse. Current law permits prosecution 20 years after the child turns 18. New civil legislation aims to extend or end statute of limitation laws for victims of sexual abuse as children. A civil lawsuit was filed this fall by 31 former male students who participated in sports when Jensen was there. Mercer does not even serve on the House Judiciary Committee where these bills are being heard. He is accused by plaintiffs of making hallway deals with lawmakers to toss the bill out. MTN News heard from both sides today.
The farther away we get from when the conduct happened, witnesses' memories become blurry. There are challenges in terms of fairness to both the plaintiff and the defendant. And so we're busy trying to work through those issues and figure out, what should we do with the statute of limitations?
I just truly don't understand. It seems so easy to me. It's politics at its worst if they can't get this through and protect our kids.
So tonight at 9 and 10, we are going to dive into this issue much deeper, hear from the sponsor of the bill, Shane Morageau. He's a Democrat lawmaker, and he's going to let us know what's happening with that bill. Also, we want to let you know that that initial bill had bipartisan support, pretty widespread bipartisan support. Andrea, you said you also met with the survivors last night. What was that like? Yeah, it was very compelling stuff, Jeanelle. In fact, they told us so much more about the abuse that they experienced while they were high school students at Custer County High School. They talked about Jensen. They talked about how they're healing from it now. And we're going to have much more of their story tonight on KTVQ.com. And of course, we're going to hear from those victims as well on how they feel about this legislation kind of stuck in this place. So much more to come tonight.
All right. Thank you, Andrea.
Thanks, Andrea. In other news, a bill to abolish Montana's death penalty died in committee today. Republicans on the House Judiciary Committee voted to table or kill the bill 2 days after the committee heard a hearing on the measure. Now, the bill went down on an 11-8 vote today, with all Democrats voting to keep it alive. House Bill 350, sponsored by Republican State Representative Mike Hopkins of Missoula, would have abolished the death penalty and replaced it with a life sentence in prison. Hopkins told MTN News he has no plans to try to revive the measure. He said it was important to have the discussion about the cost of maintaining the death penalty, even though Montana is currently barred by a court ruling from executing anyone. Now, 2 people currently sit on Montana's death row, including one who was sentenced nearly 36 years ago.
A bill paving the way for the state to become an investment partner in large economic development efforts, such as the One Big Sky project in Billings, is taking shape but has not yet formally been introduced. Billings Senator Roger Webb, the chief sponsor, says what started as a 6-page bill draft is now 42 pages long, and it's not finished yet. Webb told us this week 5 Montana communities have expressed an interest in the bill. It requires $300 million in private investment to trigger an infusion of $125 million state dollars. Webb stresses his bill is still a work in progress, but has the potential to spark billions of dollars in economic development for the state.
It has the potential, it has the capability of generating billions of dollars. I mean, can you imagine 5 of these projects going at once? That's potentially $5 billion. And our state budget's only 10. But this has a 20, 30, 40-year impact that nothing else has.
Well, in addition to Billings, the other communities that have projects that could benefit from Webb's bill include Bozeman, Missoula, Big Sky, and Polson. Since the One Big Sky bill is considered a revenue measure, it needs to be formally introduced by the 60th legislative day, which gives Webb slightly more than 3 weeks to work out all the details.
A water main break created an icy, slippery, slushy mess on Rimrock Road this morning. Take a look. City crews responded around 7 a.m. to the 1400 block of Granite Road just north of Rimrock. The water leaked down Glacier Drive onto Rimrock, flooding the street between 15th and 17th Streets West. Crews had Rimrock cleared just before 10 o'clock. Now, city officials tell us the water line is 64 years old, so it's hard to determine if today's cold weather played a part. Also, due to its proximity to the rims, natural ground movement could be another possible factor.
The forecast says it all. More winter weather ahead, turning much colder over the weekend. The region has been mired in below normal temperatures since the beginning of February, and it shows in the amount of natural gas and electricity being consumed to heat homes and businesses. Mark Hansen with Montana Dakota Utilities reports natural gas usage is 45% higher than average for eastern Montana in February, but over the first 2 months it's up only 10%. That's because, you might remember, it was a very warm January. And as it turns out, we're currently sitting at the second coldest February on record, with only 4 days reporting temperatures above freezing.
Wow. The state of Montana one step closer to getting an official state rock and roll song.
For goodness sake, I got the hippie shake.
That song, the Hippie Hippie Shake, was famously recorded by the Beatles, but it was originally written and recorded by Billings native Chan Romero back in 1959. House Bill 392 passed out of committee today.
Lon Fott, whose late father, Larry, operated the Billings studio where Romero first recorded the song, brought in the original reel-to-reel demo for lawmakers to take a listen.
It's a piece of Montana history. You know, my dad is a Montana native. He grew up in Lodgegrass and then moved to Billings when he was 18, where he spent his entire life. We're trying to, you know, carry on my dad's legacy.
House Bill 392 must fully pass the House and Senate before it will make its way to the governor's desk.
Up next on tonight's 5:30 News, the name might ring a bell, and the allure of his instruments could string you along. Tonight, we're going to meet the man behind the music.
And in sports, divisional tournament week is underway on the basketball court. Scott shows us what's happening with your local teams.
And coming up in weather, we've got a few scattered snow flurries flying around Montana, especially out in the western part of the state. Some of those could come here by the morning, but snowfall won't be the only thing falling. We'll talk about that coming up in a few more minutes.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.